Hello, everyone. Welcome to Bells Beyond podcast by Bell Sisters. My name is Masichi, and I am your beloved host at Bells Beyond podcast. We are a community-driven social enterprise building support systems for female founders of color. And our community fosters safe spaces where these women can form genuine connections and grow together. And today we have with us the amazing Kate Ebabo, who is the founder of Coteria Solutions, which is a Canadian consultancy that is focused on enterprise transformation, helping organizations strengthen their operations through practical, secure digital solutions. So, Kate has over 15 years of experience, and her work sits on the intersection of strategy, technology, and change leadership. So, welcome to the show, Kate.
Thank you so much. Thank you. I appreciate. Thanks for having me.
Yes. So, can you tell us a little bit about yourself?
Okay, sure, I can. My name is Kate Ekbabo, like you did already share, and thanks for that introduction. I couldn't have said it better. I am a business consultant and an advisor, so I do help service-based businesses with anything that has to do with them working better. But over time, I found that most of all those businesses struggle with how to, get the right clients and get more businesses in. So we have another business which was founded to help people get positioned to win more contracts and opportunities that is the best fit for them so that they're actually having a constant flow of revenue into their businesses. So that's what we do. So we do an advisory service and we also do consulting services for IT, for businesses within the IT space.
Okay. I'm intrigued. Can you share a little bit about how you ventured into your business?
Yes, so that's an interesting backstory. So it all started with, of course, I was working within a space back then in Nigeria, maybe 20 something years ago. I was working in one of the top Nigerian banks, and I was in the front desk, just doing my day-to-day stuff, serving and helping customers. And one day I served someone who eventually I found out was a mystery shopper. I don't know, like how that's,
Oh,
yes.
okay.
So I served this customer, and it became a situation of where I kept asking what the customer really needed and why he needed what he wanted. And I went down so many routes and layers, and he felt heard. He felt that he was really getting his answers, getting the right person to solve his problem. And he said, you know what? You shouldn't be here. You should be somewhere doing bigger things. You should be doing serving at a bigger capacity. And then he recommended me for a different opportunity in the same organization. So I was transferred to the IT department and as a business analyst at that time. So now I transition into that role with clarity to know that, you know what, if you want to solve any problem in the business, you have to ask so many levels of questions of the whys down deep into to know what the real problems are. This also helped me to go into so many opportunities where I'm having to have deeper conversations with people, and I'm understanding that a lot of things are not surface level. A lot of problems are not the first thing you hear. So I realized that I had a knack for, having conversations with people to say, well, what is really going on here? Is it more than you're saying? And then I started noticing that small businesses that couldn't afford the services of bigger organizations were actually struggling because they start the business on a foundation with a good heart because they know that they want to do something and serve and help in whatever capacity. But they are not able to understand the real failures within their businesses because they can't see inside their business as they would see when they're serving. So that's where we came in, and then we started Coteria Solutions to help. We started with helping small businesses, and then we started looking at bigger opportunities. There are spaces where even the small businesses can also serve enterprise level. So we're like, how do we get there? So back to all the questions. How do we get there? How do we get in? And then we ask the hows so many times till we now say, okay, so now that we know how, we need to also tie that to why we're doing what we're doing and who we're doing it for. So we go through all the how, why, what in everything we're doing within our frameworks in the organization. And that's how we started the business.
I think that's actually amazing. There are two things that I picked from this. The first is just basically wherever you are doing your job and doing it properly, because imagine that you were maybe rude or acted uninterested to the mystery shopper and you didn't tend to their needs the way you were supposed to. I don't I don't know if you would have been here
Exactly.
today.
You're
Yeah,
so
so
right. You're so right. Like, I don't know. My journey will probably be different. My story today would have been different. I don't know where, how life would have weaved things in. But the truth is, whatever you're doing, do it well and do it right. So that's just what you just kind of like summarized as well.
yes, whatever you're doing, do it well, do it right. Whether it's no matter how tiny, no matter how big, no matter if you're just handling, a $500 client or if you're handling
Exactly.
a $50,000 client, you do it well. So yes, I do agree with that. And the other thing that I also heard from your story is basically asking questions. So you keep asking and you keep asking until you arrive at the actual problem. Because like you said, a lot of things are not really surface level when it comes to not just clients, but I feel like life in general. Not really surface level. So you have to, kind of keep asking the what and the what. I can't remember where I watched this. I think it was on YouTube where someone was saying that in sales, you have to ask, I think it's what or something up to 5 times before you actually get to the root cause or what the client actually wants. So that's also something that I learned from your story that I think is incredibly profound.
And thanks for also hammering that in as well. It's really, really important to do that root cause analysis when you're having even daily conversations, just imbibe that into your lifestyle. Like you're having a conversation and someone said, well, I do have a headache. Why do you have a headache? What did you like? By the time you ask five, six questions, it could just be that the person hasn't drank enough water or the person, had a little less hours of sleep. So little things like that. And then when you understand the root cause, it's easy to say, you know what, this is your solution. So that's how it makes it easy for us to go into, helping people with our consultancy work and advisory services as well.
Yes, definitely. Definitely do agree with that. So can you kind of tell us your first step into entrepreneurship? So how did that really happen? I know you've told us the backstory of how you met the mystery shopper, but what actually was your first step in becoming self-employed?
So I started as well from contracting. So I kind of had my foot one step into entrepreneurship at that time because I had to have my own um, incorporation registered at that point. But I was still a contractor with a company. So down the line, I said, you know what? I can do this on my own. I can serve more people. I want to leave those barriers of, I'm contracting specifically for this client under an agency, but I want to be the one to say, you know what? I want to choose the people I work with and serve as many people as possible because like we can do more out there. There's so many people who need our services. So, thinking about it from that perspective, I started my business. But I had dabbled into entrepreneurship a couple of times, in all honesty, and it wasn't always, like Coteria Solutions is a learning from a lot of failures of trying to be an entrepreneur. So I had started a product business at some point, trying to buy and sell things to serve people. I had also initially started a different type of digital service business as well. I had done a couple of things, but because of my clarity at the point where I was coming into Coteria Solutions to say, this is who I want to serve. I'm clear about who I want to serve and why I'm doing this. It was at that point easier for me to see and tie my vision into building the business because it was already something I was doing. I was just saying I just want to do it differently under a different umbrella. So that's how I dabbled into it fully with Coteria Solutions.
Okay. Now, what about, just starting out? What was the hardest part of starting out that no one prepared you for?
Yeah, there's a lot of fears with entrepreneurship, honestly. Like, it's just knowing that you're responsible for a whole, like, you decided to have this baby that you're going to be responsible solely for. So
Mhm.
it's like a baby that you have to nurture, you have to, always look after, you have to be there for the baby 24/7. So it's like there's no closing time in entrepreneurship, especially in the early years. You're spending a lot of time. You don't have well, my work hours are 9 to 5 with entrepreneurship. Your work hours are all the time, right? You're working in
24/7.
your business. You're there. So it's a whole lot of commitment that it always seems easier on the other side to see entrepreneurs or business owners and founders, and you're like, well, I want to be that. But when you don't have understanding of the shoes that they're wearing to grow that business, then it looks actually easier on the other side. However, it's definitely a fulfilling thing to have just like a baby, right? It's always difficult when you're going through the pregnancy, and then when the baby is born, it's like, oh, here's my new shiny stuff, and then the baby starts growing, and then the baby becomes an adult. So again, it's all of that. It's a journey for sure.
Yeah, so definitely just being the entire person in the whole business, being the CEO and the CFO. I always tell people, I say, I'm the whole C-suite. You need a CEO, that's me. You need a
Yeah.
CFO, that's me. So just basically, and the fact that you kind of never really switch off your brain.
No.
Yes, I do understand that too because I definitely relate. I feel like even when I'm sleeping, I'm dreaming of my business.
There are really so many moving parts, to be honest. Like you just said, right? You're learning so many skills because aside from the fact that you have a vision and you know who you want to serve and what you want to do, you have to learn how to sell what you do. You have to learn how to promote what you do. You have to learn how to like do your branding. You have to learn how to become, the business. So it's a whole lot of things to wear, a lot of hats to wear in entrepreneurship. So yeah,
Yeah, definitely tough, but like you said, very fulfilling because I kind of think about it and
sorry,
I kind of think about it and I think to myself, there's nothing else I would rather do.
rather do.
As hard as it is, you just keep going. So now, what would you say are the mistakes that you made early on that taught you a really big lesson?
Hmm, interesting. There are quite a number of mistakes, and again, one very, very important one is not being easy on myself, wanting to see results fast. So, I found myself, in doing a lot of grinding, doing a lot of um like self-sabotaging because you're
Mm,
like, well, if you want to, you came out of corporate, you've been doing this for so long, now you want to do this business and you're not getting in the same level of your revenue is not consistent. You're not, doing XYZ things the way you were actually forecasting initially. So, it's a lot of pressure that entrepreneurs and young founders put on themselves. Because again, it's not a marathon, it's not a sprint, it's a journey. So, you know, giving yourself grace, it's very important. That's one big mistake early on. And again, you thrive in a space that you create. So if you create a space of peace, a space of, yes, I know I'm doing it, I'm going to be intentionally working towards my goals, then you thrive in that space. But if you create a space where it's a pressure environment, as your business is growing, you're going to continue to have that same level of intensity, even with your employees, with everyone. Everybody's going to feel the heat, everybody's going to feel the pressure, and nobody will want to be in that space. Your clients will feel it too. So give yourself some grace and just enjoy the process.
I really like what you said about giving yourself some grace. But I was just thinking, let's say for some of our listeners, I'm pretty sure they'll want me to ask this. So let's say people that got into entrepreneurship, that's the only thing they do. They don't have they don't have anything to fall back to. They don't have a family to fall back to. It's literally sink or swim. Um, and maybe the business is not really going well. So they're at that point where they feel pressured. How do I pay rent or
Mm.
how do I pay this? Um, what advice would you give, especially since it's much harder to even give yourself grace at that point? Because at that point you're under so much pressure that it's a little hard, even though maybe you might want to give yourself grace, but now you're acting from a place of fear because you don't even have any backup. What advice would you give to people like that?
And that's a very, very interesting question. I really like that because back to it, we tend to, again, bring in our fears, bring in our problems to the front, to the forefront of, your business may not solve all the problems. So if you put all the pressure on the business, at the end of the day, you're not going to be helping yourself, your
Mm,
mindset, and even the business. Now, the advice I'll give is always figure out why things are not working. So it's back to my initial assessment. So your business, you started this business. Why did you start your business?
mm,
Why did you start your business? Why are you doing what you're doing? What do you want to achieve from the business? And who do you envision that you want to serve? And once you have those things clear and you're seeing that it's not working, then we start trying to understand what is not working. So again, in anyone's business or in your life, if there's anything that is not going as it should, you need to ask so many questions to get to the root cause of what's not working. And then once you're able to identify what that is, please ask for help. Find a community, find an ecosystem where you can try. Find people to latch on to
mm,
lean on to say, um, you've been an entrepreneur for XYZ years. Do you know anyone doing what I do? I would like to learn from them how they got two steps forward or three steps forward and how they succeeded. And
mm,
then you learn from them. You learn what they their mis from their mistakes, and then you apply it to your own business. We are all so again, I'm a woman of faith. So we are all here for a reason and a purpose. And if you have a seed and you pass it and you say, God, please water this for me, it's definitely going to sprout. So let us key into the seeds that we have and be clear on what we're doing, who we're doing it for, and why we're even doing it in the first place. So that's always going to help us to push forward and push through. But that doesn't mean that we need to grind and grind and grind and not sleep and not eat, and then you're going to, so many networking events that you don't necessarily even get any results from. You're, but disturbing people and telling them, oh, please just buy from me, XYZ. And then you become someone you're repelling people from you. So,
Mm.
but when you're clear, your aura is different. Like your composure is different. People just want to associate with you. People
That's
just want you to
true.
be the one to serve, to help them solve their problems.
That's
Because you're
true.
not coming from a place of desperation. You're coming from,
Depression.
hey, this is
Yeah.
what I'm doing, and this is how I'm going to help you. So, and there's so many people in the world. So, if you are not my client, there's someone else who will be. So, people should be confident in the fact that they're here for a purpose, and their purpose will, if they stand true to it, they will get the reward from it. So nobody should um, dwell in fear of what they're going to eat. If God can, you know the sparrows, how he can dress them and make them so beautiful. If he can do that for that, and even squirrels, animals, then how about you? So please, no one should dwell in fear, please.
There's something you said that I really liked. You said there are a lot of people in the world. If I'm not your client, someone else is. I don't know if you know this person, Alex Homozy. He's also an entrepreneur, but he has a huge social media presence. I do follow he and his wife a lot. I do have a lot of
Layla,
respect.
yes,
Okay, you know them, good, because I think they really grind a lot. One of the things he said is he said if you basically if you want to be at the top 1%, he actually did the math. He said if you want to be at the top 1%, you have to grind like the top 1%. You can't just do something one or two times and expect it to work. But the main thing he said that I wanted to bring up, I can't remember the episode he said it, but he said, you just don't know. A lot of people just don't know you yet. Right now, maybe the only network you have is your family, your friends, your church members. If you go to church,
exactly.
maybe your gym people, and then a lot of few community members here and there. Imagine that you were a huge influencer, or maybe Kim Kardashian or something, and you had 7 million followers. Would you tell me that if you were to start a business right now, that you won't be able to, sell out or have the business kind of work? So I just kind of wanted to touch on what you said about there are a lot of people in the world, and it's just that a lot of people don't know you yet. So what you just have to do is to get to that level where a lot of people know you, which is your marketing, basically. And of course, not giving up and not just knowing that you always like basically you got this. You just have to keep going and just
Keep going.
trying different ways. No, but thank you so much for that, Kate. I feel like that was a lot of good advice. So, well, still on the topic of fear, because again, I do think that in as much as we don't want fear to control us, I do feel that at some point we do get scared here and there. So, especially in your beginning stages, how did you push through the uncertainty?
So, I do have a good, I guess I'm fortunate to have a community and of people that I can bounce ideas off and
Mm,
I can have conversations with. So, at any point where I feel like I'm uncertain about the steps I'm taking or decisions, and I'm totally sure that, you know, I don't want to take another step forward without validating what I'm doing.
mm,
Then I
mhm,
reach out to my ecosystem. I reach out,
mm,
I find someone who's been there. And I kind of alluded to that earlier when I said reach out to people within your community and find someone who's done what you've done, what you're doing. It may not be the exact way you're doing it, but even similar niche, somebody who is serving people similarly and learn from them. For instance, you just gave an example of Alex Homozy, Leila. You don't even have to find someone one-on-one. Like there's so much information out there. You can go out and say, well, this is the problem that I'm facing, and how do I solve this problem?
Mm-hmm.
Fear is just like when there's darkness. Just think about when there's darkness and then you put on the light. So if you have the answer, which is the light to a problem, then it already diminishes the fear. So if you understand how to solve a problem, you're not gonna like if you know that you have, for instance, God forbid, but then there is something that a sickness or something that someone has, and the person knows exactly how to elevate it or fix that problem, then the
Mm-hmm.
person won't be scared. But if the person hears that they have something that is incurable, and they don't know how to fix it, then it's a different conversation. But
Mm.
if you can find people who's gone that walked that path, people who have done this before, and have those conversations, or even just try to understand what they did to get them out of that situation, then you apply it to yourself, and then it just takes the darkness away. So let's just always go back to the light. Let us go back to, well, no man is an island. Even if you go back to the Bible, there have been entrepreneurs since in the Bible.
Yes.
We had people selling oil and they did not even have enough. And Jesus said, go and bring the jar. And
Mm-hmm.
what happened? Right? So again, it's not today. Your problem is not unique. Whatever it is that is making you feel like you should be scared, it's not unique to you. It's always been in existence. So you just need to look back and find what was done then and apply it to today's situation, today's environment, with today's technology that has evolved. And then you try to adapt it to you, and it will diminish all the fear.
There is nothing new under the sun. Whether
No.
it's the problem or the solution, it's not new. You can always go back and you find the answer to that solution. And like you said, you apply it to yourself. Thank you actually for that. That was a very good I think that was a very good response.
You're
Um
welcome.
so okay, now on building your business, right? What was the mindset shift, or what at all was it that helped you to start building with intention as opposed to maybe hustling mindset, or maybe thinking, oh, this is just a side hustle, but building with intention, maybe putting up structures. What was the mindset that helped you move to that? And what were the things that you put in place to ensure that there was intention around your business?
So because of my background of being within the IT space, I've been in organizations and I've worked with people and clients and businesses where I see that the major problems that a business will have is that it doesn't have systems, it doesn't have
Mm.
structure, and
Mhm.
that's strong foundation. If it's not there, then there really is no business, because without the founder or without the CEO or the entrepreneur in that space, then the
The
business doesn't
business
exist.
collapses. Yeah.
So I didn't want that for myself. So from day one, I was always very intentional about documenting everything that I do. So if I'm
Mhm.
making a decision, whether that's what we're going to, if even if it's going to change, I'm documenting it as we go. And I'm saying, well, this is what we're doing now. This is our current process. And if it changes, this is why it changed. So we have that data where we can see what made us shift from doing things this way to doing things a different way. And that also helps us to go back and say, well, we did this, and
We
it really
tried
didn't work.
this, it didn't work.
We
Mhm.
tried this because we had it documented. If not, we could lose sight of things we're doing. And then we'll say, well, let's try it again, right? But if we have it clearly documented to say, well, when we did this, this is the outcome, and this is what, you know, we put in this number of hours of time to get this done, and we didn't get the results we're looking for. Again, if you have structure, you can step back and pass it on to someone else to do. So there are
Mhm.
some operational tasks that someone else can handle, and then you can be able to look at your business from a different lens to be able to see how you can plug holes in places that you have income leakages, in places where you can actually improve your service deliverability, and you can also help to bring in more clients and improve your clients happy rate. So those things are things that, you know, if you have your SOPs from day one, it helps your business to grow. So knowing that with that background, I always will make sure that everything is documented. If I bring in someone to do work for us, part of my contract is with you is you have to tell me exactly what you did
What it
because I
is.
want to know if I'm going to hire
Mhm.
somebody else again later, I need to be able to pass that on to say, just take this and you can solve that problem. I don't want to sit in that space, and that saves me time too. So again, it's just priceless for anyone starting or anyone looking to, you know, grow their business. Always, always, always document your processes. It will help you down the road.
Let me just say I vehemently agree with you. I was very lucky to learn at the very beginning, say, I want to say maybe 8 months into my business. I was very lucky to learn about SOPs, maybe 6 months actually. I was lucky to learn about SOPs. Um, and it really helped because when I got the first person that was helping me, whatever question she would ask, because I gave her the SOP, whatever question, I'm just like, is it in the SOP?
Right.
Whatever, is it in the SOP?
And
Because
if
if
it's
it
not, when you answer it, you
you
update
put it
it.
there.
That's
Yeah,
it. Yeah.
exactly. Because you don't have to bother me if everything I gave you is in the SOP. Right. So that's one of the things that really does save time because as you said, you're able to bring in someone else. Someone else can do that particular work, and it's not on you as the founder to do everyone's work.
Yeah.
So that's one of the things. I'm very grateful that I learned about SOP because I do know that a lot of business owners they can go for maybe 5, 6, 7 years before they even know that there is something like, SOPs that exist. And by then, it's a whole lot of work because now you kind of have to
Yes.
backdate. So that's one of the things that I really like that I learned. So as we are ending, I do want to ask to the listeners who are listening to us, what advice would you give any of them who is going into business for the first time?
That's that's a very good question. I'll say a lot of people I find too, they try to wait to be very ready. They want to have everything in place. They want, you
Mm,
know, to build so much before they start putting themselves out, to start being the entrepreneur that they want to be.
mhm,
I'll say stop waiting. Just get started.
mm,
Just explore. Just
mhm.
put your foot out and you even if you don't have everything figured out, that's okay because you're going to grow from your experiences. You're going to learn from it. And if you're waiting, you're going to lose time in waiting without even actually learning anything. So step forward and get started.
It's so funny that you said this because I recorded an episode with this lovely, lovely, amazing girl, Hannah. And I also asked her the same question. And Hannah said, you shouldn't wait until the time is perfect. Just
Ah,
start. So I find it funny that you said the exact same thing, but then I think that goes to show how important that advice is. Because think about it, you don't start today, maybe you give yourself the next day, give yourself the next day. By the time you know it, it becomes one week and then 2 weeks and then one month. and you're still tired, and you're like, okay, I'll get to it next month. And then you've gone 3 months, 1 quarter has passed. Before you know it, 2 quarters, a year has passed, and you still have not moved the needle. You haven't done anything. Um,
Yeah.
yeah,
You're still
so
dreaming.
you're
You're
still
still
dreaming.
dreaming.
You're still
Yeah.
dreaming. And someone that started the year before but started scrappy, they are
Mhm.
learning and they are no
Yeah.
longer where they were. So yeah, just start doing something, and with each step it will become clearer. So thank you for that, Kate.
You're
Um,
welcome.
yeah. So as you were speaking, one of the things that I realized that came up multiple times, which I think is also powerful, is community. And that
Mhm.
exactly. Yeah.
Very,
Yeah.
very important. You have to be in an ecosystem that will elevate your mindset and help you to grow. You have to be in a community.
Yeah.
Man is not an island. You're not
Man
just
is
there.
not
No,
mine.
don't do that to yourself. And yeah, just find your people. Find your
Yeah.
people and you'll thrive within that space. Find your
I
people.
I love that you said it. I didn't tell you to say anything, but I really love that you said it because that's basically what we are all about. Basically, that's the heart of our community, Bell
Hmm.
Sisters, which is a community for Black and brown women in business, because we created it as a safe, intentional space for women who are navigating business. Because again, when we are together, we are able to go, how is it, how do they say it? If you're alone, you go fast, but if you're together, you go far. Um,
Yeah.
Yes. So if you're listening and you have been craving genuine sisterhood or conversations like this, and a place where you don't have to figure everything out alone as you're building your business, Bell Sisters exists for you. So you can learn more about us on our website, bellsisters.com. We will be so lucky to have you. And now to our amazing guest, Kate. Thank you so much for being part of this conversation. Um, Again, this is exactly why spaces like this matter. So I do want to thank you for, just coming here, sharing your knowledge, telling us about SOPs because those are very important. And just, all the gems that you have shared today. I truly appreciate having you on here.
It's my pleasure, and thank you for having me, and thank you for the community that you have. Like every little sub community in the world is, bringing women together, Black women in entrepreneurship. It's not a space, or it's not something you want to do alone, honestly. So having somewhere where you can say, you know what, I can find my people there. I'm going to go to that community. I'm going to find somebody, and I'm going to connect in that place. Just be rooted in. That's wonderful that you're building this, and thank you so much for that. I really, really appreciate that. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Kate. And to our listeners, thank you for joining us on this episode, and I will see you in the next one. Bye bye.
Thank you. Bye.